Browns.
You could argue that the Ravens are the hottest team in the AFC aside from the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Bills have the best offense in the league.
Henry back in there.
Great stiff arm. Oh, have some of that. Oh.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
Those wins, they're over with. We got teams in our way right now.
There was never a doubt in my mind of the kind of football Philip Rivers is capable of playing and would play this year and has played.
In the playoffs, I wanted to see Baker Mayfield and them fully healthy.
If you're going to beat the Bills, you're going to need to go with, in my mind, Ryan Fitzpatrick. It's high risk, high reward.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin coming at you this morning. Good morning to everyone. Shay Cornett and Jordan Cornett filling in. Happy New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year's Eve. We're one sleep away.
One sleep away. We've made it almost. We're right there, right at the finish line. You just got to get through like 12 more hours, and then we're there.
2020, and you can kiss my behind. Because we are not looking back. Once we put 2020 to bed, gone.
Yeah, we're out.
2021, we are going to thrive. Not you, not just you, not just me, all of us.
Yes, I
thriving
agree.
in 2021.
That's the kind of energy I want to keep throughout the next 4 hours. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin is presented by Progressive Insurance, and all guests join us on the Good Year Hotline. So the question we're asking this morning is, what do you want your team to leave behind in 2020? So I don't know who your team is out there. For me, it's the Chicago Bears, born and raised in Chicago. Jordan's from Cincinnati. His is the Cincinnati Bengals. Those are our two teams. So we'll tell you later what we want to leave behind in 2020.
I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with this gold helmet I'm holding that I believe.
Also, I should have said that. I said Bengals, but I'm sorry.
Fighting
Irish is also your team.
My colleague and good friend, Mike Golick Jr., I think this might have been one of his helmets. Notre Dame's got a big one tomorrow, in case you forgot. The CFP semifinal, that Rose Bowl versus Alabama, and we know what the narrative is.
Yes. Don't say what it is right now.
I'm just
You're setting the table. Okay. So if you want to tell us what you want to leave your team behind in 2020, the phone number is 888-729-3776. It's 888-SAY-ESPN. Give us a ring. Tell us what you want to leave your team behind in 2020. And you can't have like 5 answers.
What you want your team to leave behind.
Yes. What you want
Not
your
what team you want to leave behind. What you want
maybe
your
it's
team
one and the same. I don't know. All right. With that being said, it's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Week 17 in the NFL is coming up on Sunday. Another thing we've almost made it through is an entire NFL regular season, which is really exciting news. And so there are 5 AFC teams right now that are fighting to get into the playoffs, and all of them are at 10-5. But there are only 4 spots. So the 5 teams you've got are the Titans, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Colts. Those 5 teams are just trying to find a way to win and get in. Not everyone can win and get in because 2 of these teams play the Browns play the Steelers, the Dolphins play the Bills, the Titans play the Texans, the Colts play the Jags. So, Jordan Cornett, I ask you, of these 5 teams, which do you think is most poised to go on a playoff run, as in get in and win more than 1 game?
This is tough. It's tough because all these teams have kind of packaged themselves all together, and it's hard to discern which one stands a shoulder above the rest in this pack of teams. You know how hard I've been riding with these Colts for the majority of this season, and at 10-5, second in the AFC South, there's a lot of reasons to feel good about them. But their defense, which I've always led with, I've always talked about how it's a top 5 defense, it's taken a dip, and it's still a top 10 defense, no question. But as I look at the Colts defense and the drop-off since week 11, it's been concerning with how they defended the pass. We saw how Ben Roethlisberger in that stagnant offense was able to go off and overcome a 17-point deficit in the second half to ultimately beat the Colts in stunning fashion. That being said, it gave me a little bit of pause. I do still believe the Colts are dangerous. But when you talk about danger, when you talk about being dangerous, you're talking about a team in the right now, it's got to be the Baltimore Ravens. Has to be. And you've heard the sound that they just played before they came into the show, and me saying the Ravens are as hot a team as you could say the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs in the last 4 or 5 games. And it's because Lamar Jackson has returned to MVP form since returning back from COVID and COVID protocols and getting back on the field. He is completing passes at a higher percentage. He is getting those legs going and making things happen. The number 1 rushing attack in the NFL, leads with him, and they've got a championship defense. They're playing their best football at the right time. And so I'd have to say Baltimore right now, because Baltimore is poised to face whom? They're poised to face which team in the playoffs? Because I know the Colts.
The Steelers.
The Steelers.
So that
and the Colts would be headed towards Buffalo, and I don't like that matchup.
Okay, yes. So as of right, I mean, and this could all change, of course. As of right now, it looks like the best probability is that the Ravens would face the Steelers. However, I think that is only if the Steelers lose this weekend to the Browns.
And so I won't even get into the matchup because we don't know what the matchup's going to be.
Yeah.
What I do know is the Colts are taking a dip defensively, where the Ravens are on an uptick offensively. A guy who's the reigning MVP in Lamar Jackson is putting together in the last 4 games MVP-esque numbers, and their defense is comparable to the Colts. So I'd have to say the Ravens right now.
Okay, so this whole year I have been beating the drum for the Tennessee Titans. It has been the team that I think will be the team to beat in the playoffs. However, as it stands right now, I think they're going to have a tough time beating teams throughout the playoffs if they even get in. I know this weekend they play the Texans, a team they played close earlier this season. However, they have a little bit more of an uphill battle than some of these other teams. All that to say is I'm going to jump on board with you, and I'm going to say the Ravens as well. However, I have great pause in doing this because, as we know, Lamar Jackson has struggled in big games, especially in the postseason.
Hasn't won one.
He hasn't won one. And there have been moments like last year where the Titans, speaking of, go to play the Ravens, and it's as if they didn't know Derrick Henry was on the football team, and he ran all over the Ravens. And so they go in this offseason and they bolster up their run game. And so now they look like defensively, offensively, they have everything clicking at the right time, and no one's going to surprise them. No run game, no pass game, no defense. Nothing is going to come at the Ravens and surprise them. So I would like to take the Ravens. However, I'm going to say this. I do not think that the Dolphins are going to beat the Bills this weekend. The Bills are 6-1 against the Dolphins since Sean McDermott took over as head coach of the Bills. So it doesn't look good. By the way, Miami did beat the Bills earlier this season in a close game with Ryan Fitzpatrick start at the quarterback position. I don't think it's going to go that way again for Miami. But if the Dolphins get in, which they can still do if one of these other teams loses, Miami, I think, could surprise some people.
I just think it's
because of the unknown at the quarterback position. You don't know when Ryan's coming in. You don't know when Tua's going out.
That's a bad thing to me.
That's fine.
I think the unknown there, you're talking about it from the vantage point of a defense who do you prepare for. I'm looking at it for identity's sake. And for the same reason we like the Ravens, it's because they've established their identity. They know who they are. They know how they've won games in the past, and they've captured that again. They packaged that up in the bottle, and they found that lightning going into the most important part of the season, the postseason, whereas the Dolphins are looking like, is Tua our guy? Is Fitzpatrick our guy? Going back to the Titans, though, the team that I'm so happy you finally abandoned going into the postseason, because their numbers defensively, you can't win with the numbers defensively from the Tennessee Titans. You just can't. You can't be last in pressure getting to the quarterback. You can't be last on getting off the field on third downs. When you can't do those two things, and you're really bad against the pass, and you're really bad defending in the red zone, when you're not stopping and you're just giving up 6 almost every time in that space,